Hey, it's Russ, and I wanted to talk today about my pedal board. Been making a lot of changes lately, and I'm pretty happy with the pedals I have on here right now, so I was going to walk through them. First off, I use Gator boards because you can leave your board in the bag if you are too lazy to pull it out, which is me most of the time. I also have the smaller size board as my secondary. Then I use a Voodoo Labs power source, a Gator power source, and George L cables. Looking at the pedals, the guitar goes into this side, starting out with a standard Crybaby Wah pedal, so nothing real special about it, but it gets the job done. From there, we go into the Fulltone Deja Vibe 2, and this is essentially a univibe system. Vibe is a great modulation effect. It's pretty much the only one I use, and I keep it on the coarse vintage mode most of the time. From there, we go into the Fulltone Fat Boost. And this is just a great clean boost. I've used a bunch of other ones. I keep kind of taking it off of the board and it works its way back on because it's compact, it works well, and they're also pretty cheap. From that point, we go down here to the MXR Dual Loop box, and I just got this a few weeks ago and I've been so happy with it because generally I'm not into looping. I don't care very much for true bypass in general, but I think that this is perfect because it was extremely cheap, $50. It didn't come out in America except for they had one distributor in California, and I was able to get this. And I like it because instead of dealing with a full board that's just running every pedal, I have it bust into two different groups. So the B signal path here is focused on distortions. And what we do with that, first off, is we go into the Zvex Fuzz Factory. Great fuzz pedal, endless number of sounds. Sometimes it's hard to find a practical use, but really great pedal. From there we go down to the Way Huge Swollen Pickle, and I just got this, so I haven't had a lot of time to use it yet, but I wanted another fuzz that's more practical, and I think it fits that description, and it has a lot of versatility, so I like it. Next is the Fulltone OCD, British Marshall type of distortion pedal. It's good when you're just doing good old rock and roll and you want it to be kind of heavy. And then we have a tube screamer. This is one of the TS9DXs, and I've had this one since I was 14 or 15 years old. I've always had a tube screamer on my board, and that's just kind of my bass sound. I love them. At that point we go back into the looper, and then we go into a second loop that's focused on ambience. So first one is the Strymon Blue Sky Reverb. I have been extremely happy with this pedal. It sounds fantastic, has a lot of different textures. I really love it. From that point we go up to the Fulltone Super Trem. It's a good trim pedal. What I like about it is that you have the ability to cut the speed in half or double it depending on which setting you're in on the fly, and you can change it from hard to soft, so it's easy to kind of change the mix and not have to bend over to make some of those switches. From that point we go into the Strymon Timeline, and again a Strymon pedal. They make really cool stuff. This is a delay, but it has a whole lot of different settings. I really like it. However, that being said, MXR Carbon Copies, out of all the delay pedals I've had, I think this has been my favorite. I love the warmth. I love how compact they are. They're cheap. And I have a carbon copy on my other board as well, because I think for the money you can't beat that, and even if you take the money out, I think it has a great sound. At that point we go into the POG 2. So I use this quite a bit, more so for just a couple of settings, not all 8 that you can preset, but it's a good pedal, especially with delay and reverb and kind of doing that whole thing. At that point we go back into the looper. And we kick it over to the Keeley Compressor. I play mainly single coil pickups, and that's what this pedal really does well, is bring out the characteristics in a single coil, and so I'm a big comp fan. And then we've got the standard Boss TU3 tuner. I've used a bunch of other tuners, kind of came back full circle to Boss because it really is a great pedal. It's a buffer, it has an extra power source if you need it. It works well, it clicks on quietly, so I'm very happy with that. So there you go, that's what my pedal board looks like right now. Thanks for checking it out. Bye.